Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. Another yearly Clue Scroll vid. Mr. Clue Scroll is right. These are just coming out by the year now. Mostly because I never really know what to talk about. But hey, we have something to talk about this time. It is the mining and smithing update. After playing around with it for a few weeks, I I just really enjoy it now. It is so great. It's a huge important milestone on RuneScape, or at least for RuneScape 3, because now, despite RuneScape 3 and old school having the same skill, they're now drastically different from each other. It's man, gone are the days of just mining one ore at a time, mostly dropping all of the ore that you have, just so you could get like good XP or at least decent XP an hour. And then for rich ore, like for Runite or Adamant, you had to wait like maybe I think it was like 5 to 10 minutes for Adamant, like 12 to 20 minutes for Runite. So you end up having to just hop worlds, for Runite, because at the time it's like the best one. So you can't have all that Runite just entering the game for no reason. And then over time, of course, it gets power crept, I guess, and now it's like bosses or just anything that's not mining gives you that source of Runite or Adamant. And it's crazy to think that you would go through, you would mine for hours on end and you wouldn't even get any good. You would get like 4 or 5 levels of not unlocking anything. Just it just be so slow and agonizing, and you just have it just feels like you're not getting anything new. Man, it was oof. But that was old school. So now, or at least right before the mining update, you had Saren stones at Prifddinas, and you had to go through a lot of dumb quests or whatever. But at the end, it was somewhat worth it because mining was ridiculous. I know that RuneScape 3 gets like this bad rep for being easyscape, and it is kind of easyscape, especially with like if you wanted to milk in microtransactions. But man, like when at the end of the day, I just keep looking at like there's nothing really skillful of looking at your character. Just mine the same rock, wait for like 2 seconds, and then mine the rock behind them. There was just no real skill of looking at your character's animation of him swinging a pick at a rock. There wasn't really, I don't know. It's like when you look at other games, especially now, that's like on console, and it has like a free to play kind of MMO vibe where you level up or collect stuff. You're usually doing the main game over and over again. The main game, like I guess maybe say Overwatch or I guess Warframe, the main game has all these missions and all these tasks and quests to go through so you can collect material to craft an item or something. And what Overwatch has you doing same matches or doing I don't know, playing competitively. I don't really play Overwatch or Warframe, but from what I've seen, you go through matches and you get like I guess some tokens or whatever to have a role at a little cosmetic stuff, and you'll grind out for that cosmetic stuff for hours. But the point is that you have a main game, like the gameplay itself is the reason why you're doing this. Like you keep going, you're playing this anyway, so the extra is getting the cosmetics at the end. At least that's what it is to me. But RuneScape is different. It's like you have all this main game that you want to do, but you can't really do it because you haven't looked at your character swing his axe at a tree for, as long as you need to. And I'm just glad that mining is just way more like easier. Like since mining, you mine a rock and that's it. Like you get one ore or one coal. Now you have to move on to the next rock. At least for wood cutting, you can swing at a tree and you can get a multitude of logs before the tree falls down. But not mining. You got to be attentive with your clicks. You have to keep watching it. And then there are times where people also are training mining, if they ask politely to move world or hop worlds, because just one person coming in and mining with you is more annoying than like, three people coming in and swinging an axe at the same tree. Because at least at the same tree, like everybody has a chance to get some kind of logs. It's less AFK, of course, but not nearly the same magnitude as mining was. It was ridiculous. I'm so glad that at that point, around the 75, 80s, I think, that's when Saren Stones at Prifddinas was so AFKable. And once you get to those, I think it's like the islands, like the Waiko, or I forgot what islands they are, but you go over there and you mine these salt crabs, and that was it required like 90 plus, but that was way faster and way easier, and just you didn't have to constantly pick, and it's ultimately boring, but you want boring but with now you can look at something else. And I don't know, RuneScape seems to be boiled around that point. I think its regulation is how much time you're willing to spend not really playing a game but just looking at Netflix in one tab or YouTube videos in one tab and have RuneScape on the corner fishing or something. That seems like, I don't know, that seems like what RuneScape's about. Anyway, so smithing didn't have as big of an impact as mining is, because smithing seemed like if you had the money, because smithing was more viable, if you had the money, just save up money, get materials to smith, and use it. And if you didn't want to do any of that, you still had like gold smithing gauntlet. You can get a whole bunch of gold, and you didn't have to spend as much money. I have to look that up again, but that's what I did. I had a lot of gold from various other enemies, maybe rewards or bosses. I don't know, something like that. And I had the goldsmithing gauntlets from that quest, and that made it a little easier. But overall, smithing wasn't as say as ridiculous as mining, because it seemed like you were being had progression. The thing is, though, with both mining and smithing, now at the time, Runite was the best thing you could mine and or smith. And while mining would have like I think 15, 10 levels apart for each ore, there was nothing in between to unlock, so it just kind of felt like you weren't doing much. And even when you get to the end, it's like, well, what do you have really? Because there's so many armors, there's so many different material that is way better than just rune. Rune is like back at halfway point, and not even halfway point. Bandos Dragon was better than that, and you can get that easily. You had all these other materials, and you're just like, what's the point of mining or smithing any of this? What's the point of even getting further than that? This is what I need, and that's it. Just stop there. But you want to have some insurance, right? You want to get your 99 or 99 mining or 99 smithing, because, well, one day there could be a quest that comes out, and I want to be on top of it, and they might have mining as the best or the highest skill to be a requirement. And you're sitting there like, well, dang, since mining is my lowest skill, I guess I better get on to mining. That's why I try to get 99s now. It's like I just want to make sure that the next update, next quest, next item, next whatever that comes out doesn't require also an additional 99 of something that I don't have. Yeah, it would hold me back, and I don't feel like doing it. But ultimately, mining is the biggest thing that carried this update. It's just so much better now. Now you can mine, you can get multiple ores from one rock. Now you can mine, and it's about how strong your pickaxe is, not instead of, or I'm sorry, it's how strong your pickaxe is instead of the likelihood or the rate at which you can get a ore. It's per swing instead of just, I guess, whatever it was before. What I like now is that mining, you get ore faster if you are still around. Like if you go AFK and you want slow experience, you don't care much about how much material you're getting, then your character will just swing and he'll be like, all right, fine, whatever. I'll just swing and take my time and get ores occasionally. But if you keep clicking and if you keep going from place to place, you have these, what is it called? Rock opportunities, as they called it. You can get a critical swing more often. And when you do, you'll get a higher chance of getting ore, higher chance of getting double ore if you have all the other right stuff. And it's just great. I don't know, maybe it's because compared to what I've been used to, this, like collecting ore was like the worst way to train mining. But now it's like pretty even without. It all depends on your pickaxe. And I really like that introduction to it. It's like it awards you for actually paying attention. And it's not just like the default, like you have to pay attention or else you're gonna get crappy XP rates. Now it's like, well, if you don't really like doing this, your XP rates is a little slower, but it's not complete garbage. You can at least watch your YouTube videos if you choose to desire, right? But yeah, so then smithing, the idea of upgrading your already existing armor, I really like that. So if you do rune and such, and you want more out of it, you can upgrade it to a +4, plus whatever. And then you get on to extra ores and extra metals that they did. What I want to do now is I want to try to figure out how to get this masterwork equipment going. That seems amazing. And just the amount of materials you need just to make the masterwork armor, that I really like that. I know, I guess it kind of feels kind of cringy to say this, but Minecraft has like these mods that people place on it where they have a whole bunch of different realistic materials you can use to craft it. Like, oh, you need this material to make this machine to take more of the beginning material to develop into a different kind of metal so you can work that metal on a different machine that does this, and it just keeps going, you keep going until you have this great big amazing masterpiece of item. And in RuneScape now, they have smithing where it's like 50 of such and such bars, 50 of another bars, and then you put all those bars together to make a new bar. You need like 20 of those bars to get in conjunction with like 100 other bars, and then all these other codes and such. It's like, wow, you have to actually, go through a big process to make it, and I guess that's their regulation, really. When RuneScape design skills, you have to regulate it in such a way so not a whole lot can enter the game and destroy the economy, even though it's already kind of messed up anyway. But anyway, it's I don't know, it's a welcome change. I love it, and I probably only really love it because I already have 99 mining and 99 smithing. And that's the greatest part about it, right? I already have those two, and I get to experience all this at once, and it's just amazing. But I know that past me, like disclaimer, I know if I rewind, if this came earlier, rewind back in time to like 2 or 3 years ago or something, and I had to look at all the quests that all the unlocks that I'd have to do, and I would probably be really upset. But me, I got the best out of it, at least for my casual self. I didn't really capitalize on it. I know there was a lot of ways to make money because people were trying to just figure out what to do, and people were just buying stuff and selling stuff. They didn't really know what they were getting into. They were just getting the best stuff for what it is. But now, since I got all that stuff out the way, it's like, man, I'm really glad that all that stuff is done with. I don't know how old school players do it, man, because at least, I mean, I guess YouTube is kind of dominating what I see in old school, but a lot of people have Iron Man and they have multiple accounts. And these multiple accounts is so that they can test out what they have to do before getting into it with their, Iron Man, just in case there's something else they need to do. Like, oh, I gotta figure out the best way to do something and to make sure that I have the materials or the inventory space or whatever. Because if you're Ultimate Iron Man, I guess that's even worse for like the next step in like a skill or something. Speaking of which, bosses got hurt in the RuneScape 3's mining and smithing, and I don't boss that much because I have a crappy internet connection and I lag a lot. Part of the reason why I hate doing quests is because since I lag tremendously at time, certain boss monsters would just kill me like instant, and it infuriates me. I have to do this again. Oh man, I have to start over. Oh, I was so close. He was almost dead. I just had one more phase and that was it. And since bosses, now that RuneScape 3 has abilities and an action bar, bosses are getting more complex. And that's good, right? I like how, some like you want to get into the incentive to have a goal of I can fight this boss, I can have fun with it, and I just love bossing all day because it provides a challenge. And that's great, but for me, it is internet connection was always a problem, even back in days of PvP where everybody was complaining that the wild was getting destroyed. I had a crappy internet connection, so I knew that any chance I had with getting with fighting anybody in PvP was slim to none because I just get owned. Man, I just lost all that stuff, and that hurts more than reward of getting somebody else's stuff, especially if they're not risking as much as you want them to. I guess I was never good at it, and the internet connection never had me be good at it. But anyway, that being said, bosses now give these stone spirits, and what rune stone spirits do is you mine it ore. The rune stone spirit will give you an extra ore. But the thing is, so they used to like just give you ore or just give you rune armor, but now they got these rune salvages and rune stone spirits. So in order to really capitalize on the reward that you get, you have to go out and mine. And it's like I don't, man, because I don't boss that much, it doesn't affect me that much. But I can understand other people's gripe on it because they're not making as much money. But then, of course, they're not making money because runite is no longer the best ore or the best metal that you can use. Now there's ore of higher tier finally, and yeah, it'll take some time to adapt to it. Another thing that's interesting is these rune salvages or whatever, these rune pieces and armor plates or whatever. You can't do anything with them but high alch them or dismantle them or I guess trade them for something else. At least as of now. And does that mean what it used to be is like rune armor, like a rune plate body or a rune plate leg or a rune sword. But now all of those are replaced with these salvage pieces, and you can't do anything with them other than high alch it for money. And that's fine because people high out them anyway. But it does like it makes it interesting how like now there's probably less armor like rune plate bodies or rune swords coming into the game, and they're all going to be or like they're coming in at some other source. I don't know how it works, and I'm wondering how that's gonna play out. But one thing I want the bosses, if they ever do fix their table, is I kind of if they're gonna give stone spirits, hopefully they give stone spirits of higher tier. I don't see the reason why you would like go and fight a level 1000 boss or something, and it just gives you rune spirit at least better stone spirits. So if you have to actually go out and mine, you can do that. I don't know. I guess you could just sell the ruined spirits, and I believe they're tradable. But all in all, I just really like the update. I'm pretty sure it's just because I already have everything and already unlocked everything. But that is the great thing about getting 99s. You have to go through these boring hardships, these boring mundane tasks, and once you do, you can finally, play the game. I heard that from like someone trying to get a max cape and or a completionist cape. It's like once you have the completionist cape, you finally get to play the game. You don't have to worry about anything else. And there's some truth to that. Just that feeling of, oh, another thing came out, I better do. Oh wait, that's right. I already have everything. And it just feels amazing. Anyway, that's the new mining and smithing update. I could try to I guess there's other stuff I could try to do, but again, I can't make any promises. I only play RuneScape in like these kind of bursts, and whenever I do play them, sometimes it just ends up with me going to school, coming home, and then just be like, well, I guess I kind of just wanted to chill and look at videos before I go to bed and then go to school again or study. If I'm going to do something like studying or look at videos, I might as well have my character in front of a fishing spot. Just like, all right, well, I guess I'll just do this. And then I get back, then I get off and repeat for tomorrow. I don't know. That's sometimes what happens. But now that classes are winding down and I'm graduating soon, I have a little bit more free time to do something like actually play RuneScape and not just play RuneScape, but actually play RuneScape. But I don't know. I guess that's it. Maybe there'll be some similar to this. I was thinking about like playing other games, talk about other TV shows, and probably even anime or something. But I don't know if that would be too jarring. But then again, I feel like other than my real life friends, I only have MrClueScroll to that actually would stop by and watch something like this. If he is, then I greatly appreciate it. Thank you a ton. Guess if anyone else watches this and you're interested in RuneScape, specifically old school, because I'm pretty sure majority likes old school instead of RuneScape 3. But if you like, then you can go and look at MrClueScroll's videos. He at least uploads consistently. He's like my new source now because it's like there is a YouTuber by a name of a friend, and he went through some controversial stuff. And he was the person that I'd look at whenever there's something old school related, like, oh, okay, I see, this is how this works, or oh, okay, that's new. Oh, that I guess that could be that's pretty cool. I don't know. I just look at old school sometimes and be like, all right, this is what's going on over there. But a friend, because he went through some current controversial stuff, he got banned, and it sucks because it's like whenever there's something high level, even in RS3, that's like a big update, he would do a video on it. And now that his account was banned, that's not gonna happen anymore. It's all gonna be strictly old school. So anyway, yeah, like Mr. Clue Scroll does old school. But yeah, that's it, I guess. If I could just figure out what else I could like do for this channel, cause yearly vids, man, I want to do more clue scrolls, but I always like get hung up like, oh man, if I do clue scrolls, I gotta record it, and then I'll have a backlog of clues again, and I don't want that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, hopefully I get better with this. Hopefully I'll go into new material. And hopefully, the one person that watches this, that's not just someone I know in real life, doesn't get too upset at me branching out. If I do branch out. Alright, that's all there is. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing me ramble on for 30 minutes. And see ya.